besties, to the FanTEAsy Podcast, where two besties spill all the delicious tea on the books we read. I'm Callie, and my bestie is obviously Montana, and we are so excited to be joining the revolution in a new year. Please, if you haven't already done so, go leave a review, subscribe to our podcast, and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Patreon. Be the first to know of all new episodes and updates. And yeah, welcome to the podcast in 2025.
First one of the new year. We survived. Barely. If you don't already know, we are breaking down the Empyrean series for a full deep dive as we are currently working our way through Iron Flame 4 chapters, roughly at a time. We are going through the world building, the character development, the signets, the dragons, and even fan theories. So please take note and prepare to join the revolution.
Remember, this podcast is a full deep dive, and we will be covering both Iron Flame and Fourth Wing, in addition to tons of fan theories, as well as some of our own. So please make sure you have read both books, as we don't want to spoil any of the pain and suffering for you.
As you should know if you are already here, the Empyrean series is full of mature content. Along with Callie and I being adults, we are swearing, we are talking about, especially in these chapters, pay attention now, we are talking about torture, some horrific things happen, there are weapons, there's violence. It is what it is. So we're rating this episode rated R.
And with that, are you ready to join the revolution?
I'm ready for this episode. First one of the new year, some good chapters. It is.
We are back on our bullshit. Had a good break. Coming back strong. Really kind of amping things up now, going into these chapters and then getting into part 2, getting ready for Onyx Storm. Shit is hitting the fan really fast. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was going through these chapters, everything that she's like breadcrumbed for us leading up to Onyx Storm has like amplified now, because there's just so much that she's going to answer but still isn't going to be answered, and I'm like, the torture, the pain, the suffering, but it's going to be so good because Onyx Storm, 19 days.
19 days, and there's a Target exclusive with artwork and a beautiful map coming out, and it's not for pre-order, so you just have to go to Target. I'm like, well,
she would do that.
I guess I need it, and I guess I need the German edition because we already have the first 2 German editions, so why not get the next one? Yeah, before we get too off track, for the very first time in 2025, what era are you in?
Honestly, like a rep era, mostly from these chapters. And manifesting rep TV in 2025.
Please. Please.
What era are you in?
I'm actually in rep as well. The bookmark literally right behind my head is a lyric from that album.
Yes.
From New Year's Day. And even though it's the 2nd, it's still like the very beginning of the new year. And it's just kind of like, in my head right now. But also, I'm just putting it out there that our lives, our reputation this year, and we're just going to be some badass bitches. And this shit's just really going to take off for us because... Manifest that.
Manifest that all day long. It is wild. We are almost at a year from our first recording. We'll have to look at the exact date that we recorded first.
Our 1 year of our first episode for Hooked was on February 18th. I mean, I can't believe we're at almost 1 year. That's just crazy to think about. And that is a lot to unpack as to how far we have come in all of this. And rather than getting emotional about it, what is our episode monologue?
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Chapter 33. Shadow Daddies kicking guards' butts, enchanted vault doors that only let in royals, 1 nauseous violet, 1 angry boyfriend, 2 hidden journals, time ticking down, blistered hands, running for dear life, door slamming shut. Did I miss anything?
No, it was a very intense chapter. That was beautiful.
It was painful. Chapter 34. Back in the archives, the gang meets with Jasenia and directs orders for the next steps of the heist. Honestly, at this point, they could rob a bank and get away with it, but it's fine. Back in the courtyard, things get steamy between Violet and Xaden. Apparently, stealing things together is a turn on. Fucking criminals. But when Xaden leaves, Violet is met by Nolan, who has joined the dark side. Dun dun dun. Chapter 35. Nolan is a traitor, and now Violet is in deep shit with a prison cell with Major Vomit, who would rather see her leave in a body bag than walk out alive. Although the interrogation is brutal and unending, as Violet is mended slightly each time, the silver lining is Liam, who appears to comfort Vi as she faces Varish over and over. When nothing seems to work, Varish calls in for backup in the form of one Dane fucking Ados. As Violet fights to show Dane the truth, Dane can only see one thing: betrayal. Luckily, it's a betrayal of the government, and in a swift turn of events, he turns on Varish and saves Violet at the last second. Wait, what? Now, the only one standing in their way is Nora, but creeping in from the shadows is none other than Zaddy. And chapter 36, last chapter, best chapter, because the moment we've all been waiting for. Drumroll, please! Violet takes the dagger from Dane, finally puts an end to Major Vomit. Woo! Now with that out of the way, Xaden can finally profess all his love to Violet. Thank you. We've been needing that. And they could make their escape back to Eurasia. But Garrick, who is standing watch, lets them in on a little problem. Enter General Sorengale. She isn't here to fight, though. Instead, she is relieved to see Violet is alive and is actually helping them now. Finally, she has some sense to her. Finally. The gang quickly heads to the courtyard when Dane calls formation, and they inform all of the riders what is actually going on. Although some are hesitant, most mount their dragons and are airborne within the hour, heading straight for Eurasia. Now we have a true rebellion. Da, da, da. Can't even. I can't even. I know. What's happening? What's happening?
And it's just like the end of where we'll be ending this episode. I'm just like, the chills. I know one. You and I would be like, like, let's fucking go. We'd be packing our shit and getting on our dragon so fast.
I've been on my dragon. I don't know what you've been doing. We ride at dawn.
Our dragons were at Target. We have blinkers, remember?
As long as my car alarm doesn't go off.
Yeah.
They just like
everyone's
open
gonna
flame.
Get incinerated.
Yeah. Instead of a beep, it's like a blast every time. Bah, bah, bah. We tried to warn you.
Why are we the same person?
I don't know.
What's our chapter 33 summary?
Another long and winding staircase leads the gang down into the depths of the archives. I'm honestly dizzy at this point too. But nonetheless, the gang makes it to the vault. Arik pulls a funny stunt as he gambles with Violet's life and literally pulls her into the vault with him. Luckily, she is only a little nauseous and not dead. The two frantically search for the journals while Xaden slowly loses his mind. Making quick work, the pair find the journals and grab them. But everything comes at a cost. Now the gang must race to the exit or be trapped inside.
This chapter was stressful. They're all stressful. I mean,
I don't know why, like, I read this book and act like I haven't read it before, and I'm like, are they going to get out? Like, come on.
Or it's the whole, I read books to, like, take my mind off of my stress. Or,
and then you're stressed.
I read books just as a form of relaxation, and we're like, what is happening? I'm so stressed.
It's like a different form of stress though. Like something about it's like exhilarating to read and like your heart is pounding because you're like the anxiety, like what's going to happen? But it's also still like therapeutic because it's so far removed from your actual life. Like,
yeah,
it is therapeutic. I don't know.
And we have answers
did
in
good
further
work.
pages, so
For now. We haven't quite made it to the end yet, so yeah, we have some answers. I tell you what.
Stop. Don't remind me. 19 days. 2.5 weeks. We can
I
do
know.
this.
We had to blast through a half of a book before then because
2.5 weeks.
that's not a lot of time.
We'll get it done. It's fine. I know us. And, also maybe try and get Liz in for some Onyx Storm theories. It's fine.
Don't put that pressure on us, okay?
Just
We got
speaking it
this.
out loud so we all remember.
So we all remember. Liz, we want you on the podcast again because you were fantastic and we need more of your theories. We got to hash this out one more time. Onyx Storm.
Please.
It's going to be brutal.
Baby, come back to us.
Did have to change the intro because shit's getting real and I'm not here for fun and drama. I'm here for pain and suffering and I know it's coming. So I'm just trying to prepare the listeners,
Absolutely.
Like, do you know what you signed up for? Like, we're giggling, but we're dead inside.
Truth.
Dead. Dead.
Not here for it.
Actually dead.
Our chapter 33 excerpt takes us to: the first time you're caught in the archives after the door seals for the evening will be the last. The complex magic puts in place to preserve our texts are not compatible with life. Colonel Daxton's Guide to Excelling in the Scribe Quadrant. Again with the excelling. That quadrant can excel. Everyone else is fuck you. You just got to try and survive.
Survival of the right. Yeah. I don't know. We've talked about all the excerpts before about like who these random ass people are. There's absolutely no information on who Colonel Daxton is. I just am still confused by all of them because like we know so many now could be Venin, are Venin, within the walls. And then even on top of that, I'm like, what is Colonel Daxton her dad? Is Colonel Daxton a best friend of her dad? Like who? I don't know. Like
who are you
now
in relation to this world? Are you dead? Was this hundreds of years ago?
Like, why do we keep throwing out names,
questions.
but there's no explanation? And it's just more confusing because I'm like, well, they're important at some point, so I just got to know who they are. Like, give me the tree of life and all the connections. I need a family tree of everyone written out.
23andMe.
Can we get that going? Mostly just need to know who the hell Violet's dad is. Literally. I swear. If that question is not answered in Onyx Storm, I might throw my book.
Even if it's like at the very end of like Fourth Wing, Brennan's alive and he's like, welcome to the revolution, Violet. Maybe it's at the very end of Onyx Storm. Like, but at least it's something. I would take that over nothing.
I need something. I might have to quit the series.
Even a morsel.
Okay, I won't do
Rebecca,
that.
take notes. I know there's 19 days, but you have time to edit just in case.
As if these books are being mass produced right now for everyone to have in their hands in 19 days.
What are you talking about?
Red Tower's on it. I know they are. It's fine.
As we will have our book in 19 days in our hands with the beautiful edges.
Watch mine be delayed.
Go to Target.
Living out in the boonies. It's like, what? Is it on a Tuesday? It's on a Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't work that day. I could go. Shadows.
Okay, but go ahead. Go ahead, read it to me.
I just love the shadows. Shadows blanket the ceiling. Okay. In a warm blanket of shadows. Thank you. That's all I need. I need a shadow daddy to guide me wherever I go.
I just can't with this chapter because it's so much. It's so intense. I feel like we were talking about this previously, but reading through the first time, it felt like everything was dragging out, and not in a bad way, like, oh my God, this book is dragging, but it's just like, it felt so long and so intense. And now it's like a lot shorter than I remember, but the intensity is still there.
Oh, yes.
I'm like,
So
oh my
intense.
God, like, okay, you have very little time. You have to try and get down there. There's wards that only art can go through. Uh, It's intense and
It's very
it
intense.
stresses me out.
But when I'm talking about like stress, I'm like book in one hand, popcorn in another, like shoveling it into my mouth while because I'm so
Yep.
entertained by this intensity. I can't.
Are you
I
not
can't.
entertained?
Oh, I'm so entertained. That's some WWE right there. Wait, who is it though? Is it Stone Cold?
Yeah, Steve Austin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Stone
And
Cold
then
Steve
John
Austin.
Cena.
He was my favorite. Yeah.
I just,
You
how
can't
we
do
went
it.
from
Fun fact.
stressed
Fun
out about a book and popcorn. Oh God. Oh God. What is this?
fun fun fact. My best friend when growing up, her dad really liked WWE, and so us three went one time. Actually, I think maybe her little brother went with us too, but we all went to WWE live. And honestly, it's worse in person. But as a kid, I think we were like, I don't know, fifth grade maybe, super young. And it was just a blast. It's horrible. How it's still like a thing that produces money is beyond me. But people are into it. It's so
Hmm.
poorly scripted. But you know what? It was fun. So, fun fact, I've been to WWE live and don't come at me for that.
There's no coming at you. What I thought you were going to tell me was significantly worse.
Oh,
So,
oh, and then way before that, I don't even know how I just thought of this. Way before that even happened, I collect Beanie Babies. Collected, I should say. I don't still collect them. Collected, I still have the collection. There's hundreds of them. But I had ones like, so most of them just sat on my shelves and didn't get played with because collection. But I had a couple that were unmarked. They weren't actual Beanie Babies, but they looked like Beanie Babies. And they were, I'm going to go see if I can find them after this because I had a Barbie one and then I had like a gray one and a blue one. And they were the WWE characters. I'm going to have to go find them. I don't know. And those are the ones that like in my backpack every day to and from school. I had like a before and after school program that I went to because my mom worked a
mhm.
lot. And yeah, those are the ones that I would like pull out of my backpack and like play with. This was before I
So
even
after this,
met the friend that I went to WWE with too. So it was meant to be that I was going. But John Cena, I mean, you can't do wrong. He's John Cena.
after this episode airs, I need you to post a picture of those Beanie Babies and just say, if you watched, you know.
If you know, you know. I gotta find them, see if I still have them. They're
You
very
do.
well
I know
loved.
you do.
I probably do. I keep everything. It's embarrassing.
You
Okay.
know, this is
Anyway.
going to be a really bad transition back into this chapter, but you know who is not very well loved is the king by Arik because he's like, oh, my stupid ass dad. And
Yeah.
he can walk through these wards, no problem, being the bloodline descendant. And he's like, oh, hey, Violet, let me just. Let me just yank you in
Hold my
here because
hand.
my father doesn't have anything warded that isn't worth showing off. He took a big fucking chance pulling her through that door.
When I said like things I don't remember, this was one of them. Like obviously I remember that they got the
Hmm.
journal. I do not remember her being swept in there like that. Like that gave me anxiety again. I was like, what's happening? Here we go. Into the library. The stress I felt. And then I'm just like, oh, he's not as dumb as he looks. He's like, obviously you're gonna know what you're looking for more than I am, so come with me.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Well, and they start listing names of the different tomes that they're finding, and I thought some of them were super interesting, like
Oh,
the
same.
study of weird creatures and a history of the island wars. When we've talked about this, about how like the other um not
The
drift, but
hatching
like all
grounds.
the other dragons. Yeah, the hatching
Yes.
grounds. Thank you. All the other dragons are like on the other Kingdom Isles and all of that. And I'm like, there's so much outside of this continent that we don't know about, but we keep getting little hints, especially in these chapters, about the Isles. And I'm like, okay, Rebecca, what does this mean?
Tomes here on early wars, the history of the individual provinces, mythology of the gods. Hello, we need more about these gods. And even what
Yep.
looks to be the earliest tome I've ever seen on mining practices, which is also really interesting because ruins, mining, like, they had to start this somewhere. So all of this relates.
Right.
In a first read through, didn't mean shit to me. I'm like, okay, cool. Now
Yeah.
I'm like, bitch has been telling us this entire time, and I just don't know how to read.
We didn't know the story yet. It's fine. And this is only our second time reading it.
I could not. I mean, it's the things that pop up now. I'm like, oh, yes, eating this shit for breakfast. I love it. What?
It's stressful though that they're going through all of this and they're on such short time. The guards are knocked out, but they're starting to stir. And if they run out of time, they are literally dead. You are done. You're gonna die. That's it for you. And like that's scary because you still have to find it. You have to get through the whole passage that you just came through without getting caught.
They're like deep in there. Like,
yeah,
at the back of the archives, down God only knows how many stairs. Like, in my mind, this is the House of Wind level, and it's like 10,000 stairs down. I don't know. Is it 100? Is it 50? Is it 300? We have no idea, but they're like deep in the trenches, down another tunnel in the dark because obviously they don't want to be seen. So buried way back there. And then the fact that there are 2 guards posted out there who they just like casually knock out, who could wake up at any second too, and then they would be caught again. Like, the stress of this entire thing. Maybe it's like when you're like racing, that anxiety, like not racing, like being chased. That's what I feel like right now. Like I'm being chased.
Like,
and
oh my God.
Yes, I would not survive in a thriller movie.
That's okay. Me either.
The stress. I would just like crumple. Okay, you got me. That is the stress I feel.
I don't think we would die first. We would not die first. But we would not survive.
For sure die. Yeah, I would for sure die. I'd probably be like, okay, in a group of like 8, I'd be like 5th.
I was gonna say top 4, so yeah.
Yeah, 4th, 5th. If I'm lucky, 6th. I don't think I would want to be the last one standing though. Like that would mean you would basically watch everyone else die. No. I don't want to do that. And then does the killings get worse as time goes on?
We're thinking too much into this now.
I liked, there was one thing noted here that I thought was really interesting because they're talking about the journals and commanding generals of the riders. And they used to be separate positions. So it says healers, infantry, and even scribes could be the general of the armies until about 200 years ago with the Second Kravlan uprising. After that, the commander of the riders commanded all of Navarre's forces. So no rider has ever been named king, right? What? It's so very interesting.
And Arik's like, I don't want that shit. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, which is great because Halden, his douchey brother, can have that because he already, him and the king, they're like 2 peas in a pod, falling for all this bullshit, lying to everybody, being deceitful. We are not here for it. We are a part of the good guy squad. They may be the marked ones, but these are the good guys. The bad guys are always the good guys. Isn't that how it works?
Usually.
Interesting.
The morally gray.
The morally gray.
But how frustrating, because you're already stressed. You're in an area that you have broken into. You're not supposed to be there, and you can't find what you're looking for. You're on a very constricted time limit. You don't know where to look. And everything you see, you're like, I want to read this, but I can't. And I have to find
I want to read all of it.
like, yeah. And I need to find this one specific thing, or at least, I mean, in this case, these two specific journals. And that's it. Like, if we don't find them, we either stay here long enough to die or we get out and we failed.
This could be a game.
This is Squid Games.
But like in real life, like you could go into a Barnes and Noble and like hide something and be like a specific book or like a journal. And like it would have to be like marked, like something you bring into the store, or maybe you just buy that day, mark it, and then you're like, okay, Montana, this is your journal you have to find. And then go plant it in one of the shelves and give a time limit.
I don't want to die at the end.
Well, nobody's killing you. You just don't get to keep it. I don't know. Who's killing you?
Don't get to buy a book that day.
You don't get to buy a book. If you find it, you can buy 3.
Now you're on to something.
This is a fun little game. All right, so people, we created the next trending challenge. Have at it.
This is for the partners that don't want to go spend hundreds of dollars by timing your other significant other with, okay, as many books as you can grab, I'll buy. If you don't want to spend that money, play our version.
Yeah. I think this is... Sorry. I was just going to say that I think this time between Arik and Violet like being in there together is so interesting because we've already seen them have like exchanges together where they're bonding and like getting along, but obviously they're like not friends, but they're both in here and Xaden is now locked outside, pissed off. Yeah. So Xaden's all pissed off outside, and it's interesting that they're just going through bits and pieces of like who the other is and what makes them them. I enjoy it. I think Arik is... I like there's got to be more of him to come that I'm like excited to see unfold.
Well, it's just the fact that he found out the truth, and instead of sitting by and staying in his normal cushy life, he's doing something about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes him stand out and so special. But it's crazy because Violet even finds a collection. It says the spines of the collection in front of me that pertain to the Isle Kingdoms, and I'm like, again with the Isle Kingdoms,
and the fact that they're in this particular library, not in the regular archives. They're way down here, hidden. In the warded up
library.
Mm-hmm. It is important. It is important.
It is. It has to be. There has to be so much more to this. But oh my gosh, I just so scary, so stressful. And then, of course, Violet's little scribe mind is like, oh, wait, they can't be in the light. Duh, look for somewhere dark. Okay, well, you're already underground 1,000,000 feet, so...
Right, where's this light coming from? But I get what you're saying. The lights, even the lights could be damaging. So what is hidden? Yep. Oh, this weird tarp over here? Whoosh. Oh, look at that. Found the journals. Table. Found the journals. Like, it was so simple.
And, Arik's just like, let me just reach on into these wards and burn the fuck out of my hand for these journals.
Literally, it was so painful. Like, I'm like,
I know.
cringing.
The blisters that are described make me want to throw up.
Uh-huh. Just instantly, too. Like, instant horrible. Horrible. I'm like, oh, okay. And we're going to survive that. It's fine.
But now we've tripped the wards. We have like less than 10 minutes to get all the way back out before the door seals. Running for our lives.
Run.
the stress
audio.
of all of this. And the chapter literally ends with,
Run.
they're not going to make it.
No.
What?
Great.
It's chapter 33. With that being said, what is our chapter 34 summary?
Oh, chapter 34. I hate like starting with the summaries because it kind of gives everything away, but it's gotta happen. At the last second, Zayden rips Arik through the doorway just as it slams shuts. Now, on the other side, the gang must divide and conquer. Ree heads to find a mender. Quinn was busy projecting and making busy work. Jasenia heads off to laundry, and Violet and Zayden, now in possession of 2 ancient journals, must guard them with their lives. Back in the courtyard, they split the books up, and just as Zayden makes to leave, the 2 make up and share a passionate kiss. Now alone, Violet is joined by Nolan, dear friend and mentor, but this time he isn't acting like a friend. Instead, he slips a drink to Violet and whispers those words to her that haunt us all. I hate this. It's the worst.
We're not fine.
No, honestly, the end of this chapter boils my blood. Boils it.
It does.
Cauldron, boil me.
So our excerpt says, my last words with my father before the Battle of Aratia were spoken in anger because he was sending me away for my own safety. I'm not sure I'll ever forgive myself for that, but I like to think he forgives me. Recovered correspondence of Lieutenant Zayden Ryerson to Cadet Violet Sorrengill. That's so sad. That is literally the epitome of you get into a fight and then someone dies and you never, ever get to have that makeup moment.
Mm-hmm. It's literally the worst.
It's terrible.
This is why the phrase, like, never go to bed angry comes into play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you could wake up dead.
Not wake up the next morning. Yeah.
How do you wake up dead?
Literally.
Zayden yanks Arik through the door. Sorry, what? I'm not sure how he did that without like severing his arm or Arik in half, but manages. So props to him. Honestly, like we could have left Arik in there, but like we just said, he's a good guy. He could have done other things, so it's fine. We saved him. We're all happily on the other side.
He was worth saving.
Sacrifice yourself.
Literally needed his blood to get in there, so
he also sacrificed his poor little hands. He's out here doing Dune's work.
Out here doing the Lord's work.
Out here doing it.
But you know what's funny is all of our friends are out there waiting for us, and they're like, okay, like how do we go about this? You know, they're talking about Nasya, the scribe that is supposed to be on guard. And Sawyer's like, well, I kind of hit him a little hard. Justinia's like, I'll just berate him for falling asleep. I'm like, damn, Justinia, you have joined the dark side.
I love Justinia so much.
She's so great.
She's a very underrated character. She's fantastic.
I think so.
We love Justinia.
Well, yeah, and then everyone's talking about the different things that they managed to do, and Quinn here with
shocking
their
us all. Shocking
Please
us
tell me all about her signet now.
So we know that she can project herself into other places, but now she's projecting as not one, just Violet, but Violet and Rhiannon. I'm sorry. Say less. Say less. I think it's amazing. I'm like, okay, to make it look like you're in one place is one thing, but to be 2 people from like a completely outside source, like you're not even cloaking your physical being, you're just projecting as them. That is the coolest freaking signet ever. Yeah. Like, honestly, can I have that signet? I don't even need lightning. This is cool. I don't know what purpose you have for it other than this random time, but it's cooler than shit.
It's
She's
neat though.
fantastic. It
We
is
love
really
it.
cool.
And the fact that she's like, I'm still working on morphing my own physical features. So
Mhm.
you can project, but you also can like start to shapeshift.
She's a shapeshifter. She's like, I can't
Does everyone
quite
have a second signet?
figure out your hair, the pink of your hair, Imogen, but I'm working on it. I'm like, damn, girl. It's
But
impressive.
it just leads to the theory of everybody having a second signet.
Hmm. I love. I
I
love.
mean, I'm not against it,
I'm not either. I mean,
but we
we
have
know
the journals.
we have the journals. It's good. I think that they have a lot ahead of them at this moment in time, but we have the journals in our
Mhm.
possession.
Mhm.
It is finally a small victory in what feels like a never ending revolution, but they did it.
Mhm.
And now somehow we go from the most stressful scenario where we almost get trapped inside this library and put to death, and now we're just making out with the shadow daddy. What?
Oh well.
I'm telling you, like their connection is so bizarre. The things that would like trigger other people, they're like, that was hot.
He's just like, "Oh, you are astonishing." And you're like, "We almost just died."
Yep.
Thanks.
Like, okay. We are doing this. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm so
Quick.
glad that they were smart enough to send her with a journal and him with one back to Brennan because as of right now, leadership does not know where Brennan is. They don't know anything about Erasia.
Mm-mm.
So I mean, Zayden could be searched when he get back to Samara, but there's not going to be anything there to find.
Mm-mm. It's stressful to me,
Nothing to look for.
like, as smart as Violet is in this moment, for her to just leave the cream satchel visible. Like, if you
I
weren't
know.
busy kissing the shadow daddy, you would have put that shit away. You watch Zayden, the amount of description of
Hmm.
him unzipping his jacket, putting the satchel inside, zipping it back up, concealing it, and then her just standing there like
Hmm.
oogling over him. Oh my god, he's so hot. Put the satchel away. Put the satchel away. Honestly.
Well,
Dumb
even
counter. Dumb.
she's the number one target to Varish. Why not send it with someone else?
I wondered that too. But then I'm like, well, logically, she's the only one that can translate. But yeah, in this
Translate
particular
it.
moment,
They can meet up later.
yes, in
Just
this particular,
like
well, and I think
send it
that
with
anyway,
Ree, and you'll get it
when
from Ree's
hiding,
room
like,
because they're not going to go
when,
after her.
and I think any of the books that she had, she always stored in her own room, which, yes, her room was warded, but in the instances where people came and went and Varish, try to go in there with her. I don't know, anything could happen. I'm like, why keep it in your possession when you're the number one target?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. But in this instance, she's a moron. And then we have Nolan, who we love and adore 90% of the time. But this 10% right here, we hate. We hate.
Nolan just showing up. I was getting some lemonade when Jack told me he saw you out here. Why are you talking to Jack? What was the correlation there, first of all? It's a little weird. And, we see Jack casually walk through the courtyard with Caroline, that other second year from First Wing, who's just made a big fucking fuss every time things have been brought up. And she's like the first to violence. And you're like, Caroline
Why are you here?
and
Mm-hmm.
Jack. And they were just with
Suspicious.
Nolan. And Nolan's like, hey, I brought you lemonade. Like, Violet, have you not learned anything?
No.
Why are we still taking drinks? He's not a
It is
stranger by any means, but my
so
God.
frustrating. And just the way that he's talking to her, like, you don't notice anything suspicious about this conversation?
Literally, it's not
Are
weird.
you sure you're okay? Like, this is so out of the blue. And then for him to be like, oh yeah, Jack mentioned you. Like, red flag, red flag. Be like, oh, thanks for the lemonade. And you know you're carrying valuables. So, like, why are you lingering anyway? Zayden left, book it out of there. I don't know what you're doing standing here. So here we
Yeah, why are
go,
you
having a
stopping?
little sippy sip. But the comments he makes, it's already said
I
once.
never like to see you hurt, and Varish has it out for you. What? And then he's asking where Zayden is.
The stress.
And then again, I never like to see you hurt. Then why the fuck are you allowing this to happen to me?
If I didn't know later that, like, it really is Nolan, and he obviously is down in the interrogation chamber with her and, like, mending her and, like, is a part of it, I would think that this is someone who projected or is shape-shifting into Nolan, because this is not Nolan. This is not the Nolan we love. This is shady major vomit Nolan.
Yeah.
I can't. Why are you holding the cream satchel? Where's your black one? Stupid. I never like.
And
to
why
see
are you drinking the
hurt.
lemonade that has now dulled your powers and your senses, and you are just slowly following. You are slowly falling down to the ground like, oh, what? Oh, it's Varish. No. Dumbass.
Why, Violet? That's what I want to know. Why? I know Nolan's asking why, but I'm asking why. Why? Why did you do this?
Red Foreman would have a heyday with this book. Dumbass.
Dumbass. Oh.
And that's chapter 34.
I don't want to do chapter 35.
But we have to. We do it for Liam. What is our chapter 35 summary?
Violet awakes in a prison cell, strapped down to a chair, disoriented and blocked from her bonds. She has no idea what they know. All she can do is tell selective truths and try to survive. With the comfort of Liam by her side, she fights like hell to stay alive. For her friends, for her family, for Horatia, for Zayden. The beatings come swift and the healing slow, but she holds on. When Varish finally gets tired of waiting, he calls for reinforcements. Jack Barlow would have been the lesser evil, but instead enters Dane. Now, with the imminent threat to everyone she loves, Violet knows Dane will see everything. And one last fight, she drags Dane through her mind and shows him what she wants him to see: the truth. Now, Dane has a decision to make, and thank Dune, he makes the right one. Turning and slicing into Varish, the pair goes to make their escape, but is stopped by Nora until one Zayden Ryerson saves the day.
I've been dreading unpacking this chapter since we started.
I think this is the only chapter that I've, like, not wanted to do at all. Like, even the end of the book, like, we'll get there, because there's hope there. There's hope. Liam reemerging is literally taking a dagger to my open wound. It has not healed.
And twisting it with salt.
Nothing in my heart is healed from him dying and then bringing him back and giving me, like, the slight hope that maybe he's not dead. Maybe for some reason he's somewhere hidden, and I'm still holding on to that, but I mean, it's really not likely, but it's just the pain.
You're turning into.
I know. I always tell you, that's not happening. Like, let it go. But we just love Liam.
We do love Liam. And you know what? The other character that we have really gone through this discussion with in Stranger Things, there's valid reason that he could still be alive. So don't discredit me for some of this.
That one I have more hope for, because of
Yeah, me
the
too.
entire story, Liam, I have little to no hope for. I really wish it was not true. Say it ain't so, I will not go. So sad.
Oh. Oh. But carry me home. Xaden had to carry Liam today.
Stop. Stop.
Ouch. Okay. Before I make us cry,
Yeah,
her
that one's
excerpt
getting a
says,
little too deep.
the only signet more terrifying than an intrinsic is a truthsayer, and yet we let them live. Major A Friend's Guide to the Writer's Quadrant, unauthorized edition. Okay, so them being italicized. And again, how we were talking about Colonel Daxton, but who the fuck is Major Afrendra? And because obviously he's not the current major with Varish being here. When was this
I
written?
don't
And
know.
like clearly you have an opinion on it. We let them live.
But then it's also interesting. So, like, our last one, you know, it's the Guide to Excelling in the Scribe Quadrant, period. And this one is the unauthorized edition.
Right.
So, again, like, is this shit that they're redacting from what's actually being published and shared? Because now we have an unauthorized edition. And who the fuck is Major Offendra? I don't like that name to begin with. None whatsoever. Go away. But then we're talking about intrinsics and truthsayers. Whoo! Which we
And
don't have
then,
a truthsayer yet.
well, almost. But yeah.
Right.
But the theory that Violet's second signet is that she's a truthsayer, and Rebecca says it's literally written in the book, it just makes you question everything. I'm like, okay, well, Rebecca said it's written. Is she a truthsayer? Like, Rebecca has us clowning.
Yeah. I mean, I fall down that rabbit hole because I'm like, oh, well, the amount of times that she's talking about the truth and tell me the truth and everyone needs to know the truth and truth and truth and truth. I'm like, okay, well, it just hasn't manifested and that's her second signet. But then I'm also like, it has to be more complex than that because that feels too obvious.
Yeah.
But what the hell is it if it's already in the book? It's in this book. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
And if
What does
the
it mean?
theory stands true that everyone has a second signet, does that mean Violet has like 4 and she's just like the fucking avatar because she's got 2 dragons or what?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, my brain can't take this. But the fact that Violet is in a prison cell, she has been taken by the
I don't
worst
like it.
of the worst. I don't even want to call him Vomit because that sounds too nice. Ugh.
I don't know any of the words that start with B that are like ucky.
I mean, we'll have to find one, but I think Major Vomit fits. Just in this scenario, I think it's too nice for him.
He's
And that's still pretty bad.
This is
no
really
one wants
brutal.
Vomit.
This chapter is really, really brutal. And it starts with them discussing Violet's mom, which is very, I mean, there's some foreshadowing right there because she's in Caldir and we have a week until she's scheduled to return. But they're not specifically saying who they're talking about. So that could be anyone. Yeah. Here we later find out that it's, Lilith. But here we go. Right into it. We can't reach Tarn. Stress. The immediate stress. Then we have Nolan. Fuck you, Nolan. Why is it the first person we see is Major Vomit and then Nolan? And some random ass, I don't even know who this prison guard. I'm over it. These prison cells.
We've got Varish's little people that go with him. We have Nora. And even it says that Nora even expresses what might be concern. Like, you are second to this asshole. You do everything he says, you do his bidding, and now you're expressing concern. Like, you know it's bad. But also, if you see something, say something.
In this scenario, he is the worst of the worst, and even they are afraid of what's going to happen. And it is terrifying.
It's horrible.
I'm so stressed. I know she's okay,
Well,
but I'm so stressed.
And then Violet, you drugged me. I trusted you. I've always trusted you.
Mm-hmm.
And Nolan, literally with his fucking audacity, I don't know where his shit came from. Clear this up quickly and we can return to trusting each other. No. Even if this was a simple misunderstanding and it is cleared quickly, I'm not going to fucking trust you ever again. There is no just going back to, oh, hey, Nolan. No. You are dead to me.
We are so over it. You do not get to be welcome back into my trust circle. I don't know.
This?
No.
He calls me up and he's like, we can return to trusting each other. And I'm like, we are never trusting each other again. Like, ever.
Ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Tay. That's how that song goes, right?
That was exactly it. Yeah.
Word for word.
Heard it on the album.
Taylor's version.
Rebecca's version.
I had to lighten the mood a little bit, and my chest is still so tight because, like, even though we know what's going to happen, we now have Varish ready to torture her and have Nolan mend whenever he chooses. We have Nora, who is a truth sayer, yeah, because truth teller is Azrael's dagger. Anyway, what a phenomenal dagger name. Anyway. And she's like, wow, I've already been here for a day. It's Sunday. And I can't lie. I have to watch what I say so carefully. And, like, while you're being fucking tortured.
The amount of willpower that it would take to, one, just like hold it in and not lie, but then when you do speak, choosing your words so very carefully to only speak the truth is what would trip me up. Like, how do you only give enough
100%
to answer the question, but make it so you're not caught in a lie? Because you lie once and the interrogation's that much worse. I mean, obviously she's already going through it. Like, fully, this is the most brutal torture possible. Heads up. The most brutal, though. And then on top of that, you just have to have your wits about you to not lie.
Mm-hmm.
That seems so easy in theory, but like when you're beaten down and bloodied and bruised and not eating and not drinking because you don't want to drink. I mean, she does say, like, I eat because I'm trying to survive. Like, right now it's survival. But, like, I don't know how she does it. I mean, honestly. And then we have Varish.
The fact that he's...
and his signet.
Well, yeah.
Which is even worse because he can detect people's weaknesses. And at first he's like, I don't know what hers is because her bonds are so strong. But now, in here, in her weakest moments, oh, I can see your weakness. You care about your loved ones. So watch what I'm going to do to your loved ones. Stop it. Stop it. That is the worst form of torture. Oh, I'm so stressed.
But her responses are so well crafted.
She's genius.
Let's start with how you breached a royal ward. It would be impossible for me to breach a royal ward, seeing as I am not royal. You're like, damn. I mean, it's true. So, like, you can't be mad at her.
She didn't breach the ward. And she also mentions that she was the only one to put them in the bags. Also true.
Mm-hmm.
She did that. Nobody else did that. So again, I'm not lying, but I'm not exposing the full truth. She's genius.
Yeah.
I don't know how she does it.
Honestly, though, I love how she's so over it that she says, I'm done answering your questions. If you want to put me on trial, then call a quorum of wing leaders and do so according to the rules put forth in the codex.
Yeah.
Go off,
Genius.
sis.
Go off. Say less. She's genius. She
And
stresses me
instead of being
out.
like, wow, that was pretty damn good, let me just break your finger.
I just, I don't like it. All of the torture. I mean, I know we talked about how, like, before rereading, this in my mind went on for so much longer. And now that I like reread, I'm like, this only happened in one chapter. I mean, it's a long chapter, but I'm like, this was only one chapter because it felt like years when I read it before. Like, not literally, but like weeks. Like, she was under there forever and nobody knew where she was. And in a matter of 5 days, Zeta knows exactly where she's at. And honestly, probably knew sooner, but
all the things he had to go through to get there.
Somehow it took 5 days.
Yeah. 12-hour flight, getting everyone that he brings, all the things.
Mm-hmm. The stress.
But as we're being tortured, we go in and out of conscious, and as we're waking up, we have Liam.
No.
Just, she says, you're not really here. You're a hallucination from pain and dehydration, a mirage. And he says, maybe, or maybe Malik sent me as a kindness. Like,
no. I like the italics here. Mm-hmm. Malik doesn't do kindness, nor does he allow souls to wander about. So this is where that silver lining of hope comes in. And we're like,
I'm not wandering, Violet. I'm exactly where I need to be.
It's
what?
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Like,
stay then.
Do I need to grab the red lipstick and just start fucking painting? White face paint?
Can this be like what is the thing with the lipstick in the mirror? You write it 3 times, say it 3 times, and she appears. I mean, she's like a murderer, but Bloody Mary.
There's many of those. Bloody Mary. There's
is it Bloody Mary?
Candyman? Yeah, it is Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary and Candyman are the ones.
I said Bloody Mary, and I was like, nope, that's a drink, Callie. That's not it.
It's Bloody Mary.
Okay. It is Bloody Mary. That's an old from, the Scary Stories After Dark books. That's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I love those. Anywho, no. The hope is there that Liam will somehow just magically reappear. And honestly, maybe it's just like this. Like, maybe he's not resurrected. Okay, fine, so be it. But like, can we get more of Liam Ghostface in real life?
Yes.
Please make that happen. Those are my hopes for Onyx Storm.
Please, Mr. Ghostface.
Please, Mr. Ghostface, don't hurt me.
I mean, Liam under that mask. All right. Anyway, I remember reading this for the first time, and it literally just says maybe. Liam says, and I lost it. The moment I read his name, I was like, nope. Nope. What are you doing to my heart, Rebecca? I am not okay.
Mm-hmm. Dressed in flight leathers and wearing a smile that makes my heart ache. Same. Same. Why are you here? Why are you hurting me all over again? But it's the things that he's saying that just like really cut deep. But you're
Yeah.
staying strong. I'm so proud of you. I mean, just like everything, he is the voice of reason. He is the voice of strength. He is the voice of hope in
Yeah.
this entire chapter. And I'm like, don't ever leave. Don't ever leave. Stay,
We
sweet
need you
baby Leah.
forever.
I do. I love him.
Liam continuing to stay by her side no matter what Varys does to her day after day. And then him telling her, I bet that Zayden already knows he's going to rip this place apart brick by brick. You just have to survive. And she's like, no, he wouldn't come get me to risk the rebellion. This is too important to him. I'm like, be so fucking for real right now, Violet.
Honestly.
Like,
Be so for
yes,
real.
this man is not willing to risk the revolution on minor things like telling a girl he barely knows the entire truth about a revolution,
But
but
not
he
you.
still is fucking in love with you.
So
He's told
in
her
love.
once, he'll tell her again. He'd rather risk losing the whole war than lose her.
There's so much that he has, withheld, but for very specific reasons. Not telling her about Brennan was calculated and albeit like ruthless, but at the expense of Violet's life and not putting herself and everyone else in danger. He kept that truth. This is not that scenario. This is
No.
fuck around and find out because
My
he's gonna
woman's
find her.
being tortured. Yeah.
Touch her and you die. This is why we love this book.
Yes.
Because touch her and you
Please.
die. Touch her and you die.
And then we've got fucking Varish, who's like, okay, well, I'm done beating the shit out of you. Let's just chit chat. Let's have some girl talk. It'll all be over if you just want to have a conversation with me. No big deal. What is it? Like righteous indignation. You give me information. I give you information. No big. Let's chat. No. Fuck you.
It's the shady way he throws out. We both know it wasn't griffins that killed your friend's dragon. I fucking hate you. I hate you.
The
I
way
hate
he
you.
avoids the truth while trying to get the truth out of her.
It's disgusting. The whole thing, all of the broken bones, all of the slight mending that's happening, just enough to keep her alive. Sickening.
And the
Here we
fact
go.
that it's not even her that he cares about. Because he's been waiting for her. He's like, well, your mom's a big rule follower. I've been waiting for you to slip up, but it's not you that I want. I want Zayden in here because you are his weakness. I'm going to use you as a tool to break him. And I'm going to know all the secrets. Mwahaha. I'm like, really? What an elaborate little scheme you got here.
You could try. But again, Violet is 2 steps ahead. Literally, the amount of like awe, like just pure awe I have for Violet for this entire chapter, because if someone beat the shit out of me, I wouldn't know up from down. And here she is like, does Solus enjoy hiding? Because even though she can't
that
fucking
part so much.
she can't even get to her dragon, and she fucking knows that Tarn knows she's fucking in deep shit, and he's like, I know exactly who it is. Where's Solus? Let me fucking kill that guy real quick. Like, oh my god, it just that slight bit of redemption right there. You're hunting Zayden, but Tarn is hunting Solus. You're the weaker on both accounts. I might die in this chamber, but I promise you will.
Yes.
I promise. Bitch, Violet, fuck yeah, you do.
Yes, you do, girl. And
It's so
Oh,
good.
you know what? Like,
2 points for
of
Violet.
course he's hunting Solus. But like again, it's just another like Tarn, why didn't you take care of this beforehand? We didn't have to go through this. You could have just fucking killed them, but what do I know?
We already went down this path once, and you had your chance and you let it go because I
Mhm.
don't know, like Empyrean bullshit. I don't fucking care. Kill that bitch.
He's dead to us. But the whole don't leave me, I whisper to Liam, and that she just wants him there so she's not alone. And he says, I won't. I swear.
Yeah, don't hurt my heart. I feel like anytime you're cracking an eye, that's the only thing you're looking for is Liam in that room.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
that hurts. That hurts everything in my
Mm-hmm.
being. Because no, like you watched the light leave from Liam's eyes, and now he's your only source of guidance, hope,
Keeping you alive.
survival. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst thing I've ever read in my entire life.
And the fact that Nora is like, well, we could bring in Jack Barlow. Like, God knows that he's been waiting for some retribution. Like, ew. I thought me and Jack were a little okay. Obviously, we never believed it. But ew. And now it's
But
like, okay,
ew.
Jack and Caroline were with Nolan. Now they're
Mhm.
like, well, Jack wants retribution. Let's bring him in because obviously he's in cahoots with Varish. And how Jack progresses in this book and the things that he says to Xaden at the very end, I'm like, okay, so
Ugh.
who else? Is Caroline Venom? Is
Yeah,
Nora? Are they just okay with it? Or what kind of truth do they even know?
I don't know. I like that they
So
like
many questions.
dismiss Jack because he's unpredictable and
And he would just kill her?
but I'm like, you created it. Like
This is your
this is
monster.
your issue and you can't even, but then they're just proving it. Like you're trying to create these monsters or dismiss these monsters and think that there's somehow gonna be control over them. But even now, you're saying, oh,
Mm-hmm.
they're too unpredictable, so he's no good. But Liam's little response is just like that little, like, thank you for always being the comedic relief. Still can't believe that fucker survived. Yeah, me neither.
Fucking
Like,
Nolan.
how is she not like giggling in there? That's what I want to know.
It's like
uh,
slap happy, like you're literally on the verge of death, and you're just like, Sloane hates me. And he's like, oh, well, she's tough. You're doing a really good job. I'm like, and now we're back to crying. Thanks, Liam.
oh, don't bring Sloan up. I know. It's fine. We're surviving. I in this obviously how this progresses works out, but like in this moment, nothing is worse. Even Venom Jack Barlow is better than the alternative, which is Dane. Nothing is worse than Dane right
Mm-hmm.
now. Don't bring him in here. The stress that immediately, like, the meter was here and now it's through the roof because now Dane is joining the chat and I don't want him in here. Mm-mm. There goes all hope out the door, right out the window.
Like, he will literally be able to see everything and exactly how Varish is wording everything before even telling him who it is. Dane's like, well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I have to do this. I have to help. This is what my signet is needed for. This is why it's classified. You know, it's blatantly obvious by connection that this writer is working with what we suspect to be a second rebellion intent on destroying Navarre. For the safety of every civilian within our wards, I need this prisoner's memories, wing leader. You must extract the truth or our very life will be compromised. Like, okay, Really? Play the good fucking guy that's just trying to save everybody, as if you haven't been beating the living shit out of me in here. Trying to make deals, saying you just want Zayden. Like, no, you don't give a shit about everyone else. You're the one fucking lying. Oh, I'm mad.
Mad all over again.
I hate him. I hate him so much.
Varish?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought you were saying Dane. I was like, well, this is such a redeeming moment.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not mad at Dane right now.
Sliver. I fucking hate Varish. And to pit them against each other so, like, painfully?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna come as a shock.
You can't control who you fall in love with.
Swear to God. I swear to God. Don't even. And then we walk in and we have Dane and we have Violet, and Violet, who is now pleading for her life because what else is she gonna do? And he's like, well, I don't have a choice. If I don't do it, I'm dead, and then you're dead, and then what? So I gotta do this.
Yeah.
But this is your childhood best friend, and you love her, and she loves you, kind of, sort of. You can get through this, but can we? Can we? I like that she still
I don't know shit about you anymore.
I do, like,
well,
he
that's
was
your own fucking fault.
He was like pretty adamant when he walked in there that he was going to be the good guy and like figure out the truth, and it was all going to be pinned against her, and he was going to feel righteous in his decision. And boy, does that go wrong. And it is so blissfully delicious because he is proven so fucking wrong. And then he's like, oh shit, she's right.
The fact that Dane plays it off so well, though, it makes me giddy because you're first read, you're like, no, fuck you, no. All the while, well, okay, everyone's being called because there's a incident at the border. We've really got to get going, but just no, hurry up, dig through her memories, focus on the word ward, and figure it the fuck out and tell me, because I don't have time for this.
Nope. I'm stressed.
But we have to relive it all again.
He's just so genius, though. I can't. If I was Dane,
what you want him to see broke my heart.
Dragging him through her freaking mental images. Dragging. Like, imagine the strength that it is taking her to only guide him to this scenario and not everything else. When she literally has nothing left. I don't even know how she's still alive, to be honest.
If you were Dane?
If I was Dane, there's no fucking way. Like, how is he not laughing? Immediately, you see the truth, processing it that quickly to formulate this masterful plan and turn around and say, oh, you're smuggling these weapons. Let me see that knife for myself to verify that this information is correct. I can't. I'm like, how in 0.2 seconds did you decide, okay, yeah, she's not full of shit, she's a genius, these guys are fucking assholes, and then watch this. Oh, fake out stab Barish. What?
And he literally says, none of this would have happened if you'd just trusted me. We had to get here the hard way, but Dane sees the truth, and he's like, stab, stab, Barish.
Yep. I'm not going to leave you. Stop.
No, that made me so sad, and it's time to fight our way out of here, because there's other people with Varish, and instead of Nora fighting them. She falls in a torrent of blood flowing from the gaping wound in her neck. I look up into the wrath of Dune in the form of gold-flecked onyx eyes.
It's literally the best little quote. Like, why is he so good at it? Let us pass and you'll live, says Dane. And Xaden just enters in with this blade. I make no such promises. I'm sorry. What? Fucking
Zaddy.
amazing. Zaddy has entered the chat. A sexy new villain has entered the chat.
Entered the villa. What is our chapter 36, our final summary of the episode?
Final summary for part 1. Okay.
Part 1.
Chapter 36. Finally, in control of their fate, Violet takes the dagger from Dane and kills Varish herself, watching every speck of light leave his eyes as she does so. Now they must hurry and flee the chambers, but someone else has joined the party. Once around the corner, they see Mama Sorrengail in all her glory as she actually surprises everyone and is glad to see Violet alive. Lilith shares more of the truth with Violet, and although a bit harsh, helps Violet see the whole picture. Now, Xaden and Violet must rush to gather the rest of the riders and share the news. They all have a decision to make, and the decision is their own. Ride and fight, or stay and die. Yeah, what?
Our excerpt just perfectly following the chapter that we just read. The only crime worse than murdering a cadet is the unfathomable act of attacking leadership. Again, with Major Afrenja and his Guide to the Rider Squadron Unauthorized Edition. But, like, Dane just did a little poke on the Major. He's, dying.
I like that Dane, of all people, who knows Codex, maybe not quite as much, but close enough to Violet. Like, he knows Codex, and he is the one to attack Major Varish. Like, thank you. Thank you, finally. Thank you, finally. Full circle moment.
And then Violet's like, hey, Xaden, don't kill Dane. He literally just saved my life. That earns him a chance to speak right now.
I mean, I 100% would immediately, if I was Xaden, walk into that room and be like, oh, Dave, yeah, you're obviously to blame here. Rightfully so.
Right.
But
when he wasn't there, he didn't see it.
He didn't see it. And she doesn't have that bond back in place, so she can't, there was no way to let him in on what was going on. Stabbing Varish earns Dane a chance, right? Yeah, for now.
It gives him the chance to talk. He literally saved her life.
Yeah.
I love that we have Garrick running in here, though. And he's like, God's damn, you took off running and couldn't save a single one for me? Like, no. Okay.
She was in danger, and I am her protector, so I take out everyone.
I just imagine
literally
with, like, twin blades, and he's just like, wah, tornado.
Can he strangle people with his shadows?
Yes. I'm gonna say yes.
I feel like he's just, like, walking down the stairs then. Like, not even touching anyone. He's just, like, walking pissed off. And everyone around him is just, like, flying into walls, getting knocked out, like, hanging by their throats up on the wall, like, and he's just walking ruthlessly down. Where the fuck is she?
It's literally the same scene in the second Pirates of the Caribbean when, like, the British guy is walking down the ship as everything's just exploding. The Kraken is taking people. And we're just like, fine.
That's Xaden. He's like, I don't even need to touch you. I'm so pissed off. And, like, where is my Violet? Where is she? I can't. We have Varish still seething, gurgling in the corner. He's pissed off, but he's still bleeding, actively dying, and he still has the audacity to talk. Your father will be so disappointed. Stop talking.
Okay,
Stop
well, you know
talking.
what? Fuck off. Because no
Nobody
one
asked your
fucking likes
opinion.
you.
Nobody asked your opinion.
I appreciate the fact that, Dane is ready to end him, and Zane's like, oh, no, 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 no. Like, this is Violet's kill.
Mhm.
If she wants it, she takes it. She's like, oh, yeah, she does. Okay, Violet,
She
third person
does.
moment there.
I hate
But the
it, but
whole, I promise you'd die in this room. And then together we just right into his heart. Life fading out of his eyes. He's dead.
so good. It's so good. It's so good. The fact that she just like stares and
Mm-hmm.
stares and stares, like just
Gotta make sure.
watching every bleeding moment of that life leave his eyes. The satisfaction. Uh
Absolutely.
Honestly, you would think we are serial killers because that is so satisfying, but I promise you I'm not.
We have never murdered anybody yet. But
Muktuk is a real crime, Jim.
it is a real crime, one that we will never commit. Moving on.
Unless it is major vomit. I like that they're Violet and Zayden are having like a reunion moment in the midst of like
Mm-hmm.
we
The
need to
chaos.
leave, but like hold on, let me hold you, love you. Are you okay? Can I touch you? Like
Mm-hmm.
you are so wounded, and let me profess all of my love to you right now, cuz this seems like the moment that I have been waiting for. Not while we're riding in the sunset and it's romantic, or not all those times in our bedrooms. No, right now, while you are beaten to a pulp, I will tell you how much I love you. What the fuck, Zayden?
He found the time he felt was right to profess, and she's just so worried about his feelings at first. She's like, I didn't break. I didn't tell him, Zayn. Like, you came for me, and I'm telling you, I did not give up your secrets. And he's like, I don't care. I'm in love with you.
Yep.
Okay.
Happily watch.
Oh,
Like, I'm sorry. A man written by a woman is just so fucking good. I will
I
happily
know.
watch Erasha burn to the fucking ground again if it means you live. Okay. Bye. We're done.
That's
We're
what we
done.
want in a
We're done.
man.
We're done.
Like, fight for me
That's
like
it.
that. Make me feel like that top priority.
I am above everything else. Nothing else matters. Ah, I'm sorry. The good, the bad, the unforgivable, all of it, I am yours. This man. I mean, Liam always makes me cry, but like Zayden gets you in your feels right here. Like
Mm-hmm.
every single word, I am eating that shit up. It is so good,
I know.
delicious. I'll meet okay, but then these are the parts that piss me off because I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful my life is tied to yours because it means I won't have to face a day without you in it. My heart only beats as long as yours does. And when you die, I'll meet Malik at your side. What? No, this is
Stop.
not like, okay, yeah, she said they're endgame, but not endgame and death. I am not on board with that.
Yeah.
I don't know why that theory started circulating, but I am not on board. I mean, like, could it possibly happen? Yes, but we are not shipping that. Not manifesting.
No.
Anti-manifesting that. Reel it in.
Take it back.
Take
Take
it
it back.
back.
Leave that in
Yeah, no.
2024. We don't put it in 2025.
No. That's not happening. That's not happening.
I do like this little tidbit of information Zayden gives, though, because, he says, tell Bodhi to track down whatever antidote she needs and what she and the rest of her squad need. And she's like, wait, my squad? Well, he's like, oh, yeah, no, they were staging a rescue mission to come get you. Like, not just me. Your
Mhm.
whole fucking squad was ready to sacrifice everything for you.
For you.
Done.
But I mean, when you think about it, like, how many times has she done that time and time again for her squad? So, of course they would.
Yep.
This is squad goals.
They're the best.
Squad goals.
Mm-hmm.
It's all I got. Like, they are
That's
the
true.
best. This is the epitome of the best squad ever. I don't know how we get that, but we need it. Squad goals for 2025.
We are the squad goals.
We need to add to our squad.
So, well, we have Chelsea and we have Elisa.
This is true.
We have a mini squad.
Mini squad. Mini squad. We ride at dawn.
Yeah. You know what? Just ripped my heart out though.
No, don't say Liam. I know you're gonna say it.
Oh my gosh. Liam says, but he didn't break you, Violet. Liam says softly from the corner of the room. My chest squeezes tight as he takes a step back toward the shadows. Then another. Like, Xaden, do you feel him? You are the shadows. Do you feel Liam here? Because I'm crying.
Okay, so...
Run with it.
So, if he's in the shadows and how he was saying, I'm where I'm right where I'm supposed to be, does that mean that Xaden sent him? He couldn't be there yet, so then he sends Liam? Stop. Did they have a connection? Somehow Liam was sent by Xaden from the shadows? Stop. What's happening? I'm gonna cry. I'm not okay.
I have tears.
I do too. I'm not okay. What's happening? Laugh through the pain.
Okay. Did not like that. Loved it, but did not like that. It's like a need, but now I'm really upset.
I mean... I'm so confused.
Oh my god.
I'm not wandering Violet. I'm exactly where I need to be. But you're...
And how he knows Xaden's coming.
Stop.
Oh, don't tell me we're reading too far into this.
We are, for sure, but I'm holding on to that.
Don't tell me that.
Xaden sent him for her. I believe that. That happened.
He did.
Yep. That makes my heart happy and healed a little tiny bit.
A little bit.
2025 is for healing, okay?
I'm here for that, but in our healing process, we are running into a general size problem, aka Lilith, and she's like, hey friends, Violet, here's that antidote. We need to chat.
The stress that you immediately feel seeing Lilith, and then as this conversation, even though it is like a stressful, harsh reality of a conversation, and a lot of truth comes out on why Xaden has been so prevalent in Violet's life, even from the very beginning, which fucking pisses me off. It is finally the moment we've been waiting for from Lilith being a mom. Like, okay, where have you been for the first half of this book and all of the first book? Like, where the fuck were you? This is the first time you've even said Violet's name in a book and a half.
Yep.
I'm sorry, what?
You, of all people, know the links I'll go to in order to protect her. And since I'm pretty sure you're the reason we're getting reports of dragons dropping wyvern carcasses at every outpost we have along our border, the reason this college is emptying itself of most leadership in a rush to contain the problem, the least you can do is give me a chance to say goodbye to her. So Xaden has set up the incident at the border. And she's like, no, it's okay. This is my daughter. I just want to say goodbye. I want to give her a quick explanation and let her make her choice.
But also goodbye, as in like, goodbye, you're gonna die. Goodbye, I'll see you later. Goodbye, I'm sorry we didn't have this talk sooner. There's a lot of weird things happening here. And of course, Violet, she's my mother. And Satan, she's a fucking monster. Yep. The stress. When you have children, we can discuss the risks you'll take, the lies you'll be willing to tell in order to keep them safe. Oh, Lilith. What other lies have you been hiding? On top of that, she's over here talking about lies, right? And then the next line, she feeds us. Oh my God, I can't. When you're a mother, talk to me about who you're willing to sacrifice so your child lives. What? What? I'm sorry. Brennan? Violet's dad? Stop, bitch. Stop.
And, Violet obviously doesn't get it. She doesn't agree with her. And she's like, but, what about their children? She's like, well, like, I knew you would never see it this way. And if you were to go into the scribe quadrant, you would eventually find out the truth, because that's what happens. You would get promoted up high enough, you would learn everything, and then your feelings would determine how you acted from there on out, and it wouldn't align with everything, and you would just end up being killed for that, and Markham would mold you to exactly what he wants, and he would control you. But I know my daughter, and you are not easy to control, so that's why I forced you into the fucking writer's quadrant. Like, thanks for finally giving me an explanation.
The pain that this book has caused, when I really think about, like, from a mother's perspective of Lilith, everything that she's done, obviously we're pissed. Still gonna be pissed. Like, you forced her into this. You gave her no explanation. You could have sat down and had this conversation with Mira and been like, hey, listen here. This is what's going on. You know how your brother died? Yeah, this is what really happened. No, we didn't do that. I don't know, lied about everything. So then, Violet's retort is, well, because you think less of scribes. And for her to go on and say the love of my life was a scribe. But where is he?
Yep.
What did you do to him?
Yep.
And then it's just like, okay, what did Markham do? What did Melgren do? What did the king do? What is all of them hiding? That dog.
That's what they're hiding, is a giant ass puppy. Like, what actually is going on? And there's so much that we don't know. And then the fact that she's like, well, I made a deal with Zayden. A simple transaction is what she calls it. A simple transaction. That sounds like the most minor fucking thing. In reality, she's like, oh no, like, I told him to make sure that no matter what, that you survived your first year. Like, well, okay. So now I'm going to be sitting here going, was he around and letting me live because of me and me protecting myself and the feelings we have formed? Or is it because you fucking made him?
You know that half a page ago where he professed his love, and that all means nothing now, because you just said that you forced him to protect me and be around me, and now this is an arranged marriage. I am not a mail order bride.
Literally. Whatever. We're done with Lilith. Lilith, go get control of your campus, and we are gonna skedaddle here, but before we do so, we're gonna give our friends and the rest of our quadrant a chance to make the right choice. It's on them if they don't.
Before we get there, because Lilith says one more thing that, like, just gets my brain. Here we go. She says, stay alive or this all will have been for nothing. Again, Brennan,
Mm-hmm.
Violet's dad, Violet. Stop.
Like what was
Liam's
this?
death.
What
What do you mean? What do you mean? What
yeah.
what does it mean?
Like, what are you trying to get through here?
Nope. I like that they go. Dane calls formation. Props to you, Dane. You did one more solid thing for us. Calls formation, and they're giving them the option to listen, hear them out, make their own choice, which I like. Obviously, we can't force you to do anything, but then for the dragons to still fight against it is what's so interesting. Like, the Empyrean is so strong, so obviously if the dragons aren't willing to go, then those people have no choice but to stay. But the ones that do go, like, their dragons are, I mean, essentially following the most powerful dragon, Tarn, and saying, yeah, this is what's right. And I like that. Like, what the fuck?
It's crazy to me, though, that, you know, they do share the memory of Resin to let them see the truth for themselves. And some of these dragons are still like, no, I will not share that with my riders. So some of them are like, what the fuck are you talking about? That never happened. And they're like, no, I saw it. Like, we're all gaslighting each other now. Because some people can see it and some people can't. And it's like, your dragon literally just chose for you. But then also, what of those, like, the dragon doesn't want to go, but the rider does, or vice versa? Like, that probably led for some uncomfy conversations.
Uncomfy.
And you have an hour to decide.
I'm stressed. Like, I don't know. Is there a scenario where the dragon wants to go, but the rider is like,
I mean, only if they're scared, probably, or if it's like their friends aren't going. I could see that, but not like absolutely not. I will not be leaving.
So those people are still getting on their dragons, and they're like, okay, I guess we're doing this. Yeah. I mean, it's a hefty amount. What'd they say? 200 dragons and like 100 riders or something like that? That's a hefty amount, which is great for the revolution. We need power in numbers. But when you're really thinking about all of the bars, that's like a fraction of people in dragons. Like, that's not enough, especially now that we don't have weapons for all of you, because we've been giving weapons to all of these outside the borders so they can at least live and survive, because they're completely susceptible to all attack, which is horrible.
And not only do we have our riot of 200, we have our big whopping number of 3 scribes ready to go, led by Jacinia.
Go, Jacinia!
That's a girl.
This is why we have the recovered correspondence, and all of our transcriptions from her in the future. Well, and throughout this book. But
she gets it.
She is here to record what actually happens. She knows the truth. She is doing Dune's work.
But lo and behold, we've got fucking Carr rushing in here with the other professors. He's like, what is going on? Trying to blast some fire, and Bodhi's like, put the fire down. Like, oh yeah. What? How did you do that?
I like his signet a lot. I'm like, can you also then amplify other signets? Because when I need a lightning strike, I need you to like make it times 100. Just amp that shit up just a little bit. I'm here for that theory. I do. But I mean, his theory in general, to what extent does that go? And where were you a little bit ago? Like when we needed you, like with the Truthsayer and Dave.
Right.
block that real quick.
It's fine. It's
I mean,
fine.
we got what we needed out of that. It's fine.
I mean, Car is an angry little rabbit, but then we got Devira. She's like, "Oh no, we're not stopping you. We're ready to join you. Who do you think planted the so-called propaganda? You know, like that was me, bitches. I'm ready."
I love Devera. And then I love that Violet, like, it clicks. She's like, I knew you knew. I knew you knew. Like, Devera's our girl. Thank you for joining. Let's go. Let's go. Again, we ride at dawn, but actually we ride at dusk.
We ride right now. We are flying through the night. We are flying
like right now?
12 hours. We
right
are going
now.
Right now. We are flying. We are flying. We get there. We see Brennan. He is pissed.
I like how Zayden, like, we're putting this in layman's terms here. He says, your choice is as simple as it is personal. You can defend Navarre, or you could fight for the continent. And I feel like when you're like, oh yeah, I'm from Navarre, defend Navarre, but when you're like the whole continent, innocent civilians who don't have wards, like that's what we need to be protecting. And we're not protecting them against Griffins. Like, we're out here trying to protect against, one, your fucking corrupt government who's been lying to you, and Venin. What? Yeah. Like, every one of you bitches is gonna die. So you could stay here and fight with Navarre and like, oh yeah, we're gonna protect Navarre from I don't know what, but you're gonna end up dead anyway. Or you can come out here and be on the forefront of it and like actually maybe be able to stop it. Yeah. Also, I'm then curious, like, in the Barrens, how many of these Venin are there at this point? Like, we know nothing about how many, what their army looks like. Like, we're just barely getting an army going ourselves. Like, we just gained 100 people. Whoop-de-doo. Now we got, I don't know, 200? How many people do we have? We don't even know. Not that many, I'm imagining. But Venin, how many fucking Venin are there?
And we don't know.
I don't know.
But we're here.
We're here.
You know, those who made their choice, they did, and we're in the places that we're meant to be now. Brennan is so fucking angry because Violet is beat black and blue and broken and then just had to do a 12-hour flight on a dragon.
Bitch, be glad she's alive.
But she brought him a riot and a revolution, and, you know, we're here, and that's literally the end of part 1. No.
Shit.
And it's painful to leave it there, but just gotta wait for the next episode.
Which will come swiftly, we promise. As swiftly as those dragons flew into Erasia. That was cheesy.
Not 12 hours, but yeah.
Well, no, I'm just kidding. Not that swift. Starting the new year off on a high note. I'm so glad that we finished part 1. Starting out strong.
Yes.
We're going to power through part 2 and prep for the inevitable Onyx Storm, which is just going to emotionally ruin us through and through. And hopefully bring a little bit of hope that maybe this revolution can be successful, because right now it's feeling very ominous, but I have hope a little. Okay, here's my New Year's like resolutions for this book, the Onyx Storm. This is what I'm hopeful for. That Brennan, Mira, and Violet all live. That Liam gets to come back again in some shadow form.
In some shape or form.
Yes. And that Zayden, I don't know. The blurbs that she's been giving us, I know he's like pulling from the ground, even though he's trying not to. But I think there's also motive behind that. So the hope is that he just doesn't lose sight of the good. Those are mine. That's what I got.
Love it. I love it. I'm just hoping I'm not. I know I'm going to be emotionally devastated, so I got nothing.
I hope I can make it halfway through the book before crying.
Oh, that's a good one. Rebecca, don't destroy me until the second half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
great. I love this. And that is a wrap on chapters 33 through 36. We are wrapped up with part 1, and by the time this comes out, hopefully we will have a second one immediately after. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure to go like, subscribe, follow, turn on post notifications on all social platforms, including Patreon. We do have a very, very, very exciting episode coming out. This comes out Sunday, so December 8th on, yep, January 8th. I almost said December.
January 8th.
I did say December.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where my brain's at. January 8th, our sweet, sweet friend and adored New York Times bestselling author Tracy Wolf will be on our Patreon. You don't want to miss it. She is phenomenal. We had so much fun talking with her, planning dance parties and meetups for 2025. So go check that out. And as always, thank you for listening.
We'll catch you guys in the next one.